If I'm an animal and dogs and cats and lions and tigers are animals, why aren't we putting other human beings in zoos and putting them out for?
The reason for that, G-Man, um, the reason you wouldn't see humans in zoos are because you could walk out your front door and see as many humans as you want. The animals we see in zoos are usually animals that people normally wouldn't have a chance to see, like an elephant, a kangaroo, an ostrich, a, a lion, penguins. These are animals that you normally wouldn't see in a zoo. That's why you won't find deer in zoos, or you probably won't find a moose in a zoo or a coyote, because you'll probably see these things in your regular life. So humans aren't in zoos because, well, first off, I'm one, so I'm not going to be amazed by seeing a human, and I can see as many humans as I want by just walking out the door. So there's nothing rare.
If I'm an animal and dogs and cats and lions and tigers are animals.
Masters, thank you, sweetie pie.
Why aren't we putting other human beings in zoos and putting them out for display? I mean, after all, let's keep it real. Some people will tell you that they're in zoos because they're trying to protect their species, and they're trying to study.
Yes, sometimes we put animals in zoos because we're trying to breed them. Sometimes we put animals in zoos because their natural environment has been compromised. Sometimes we put animals in zoos because they're injured and we're trying to rehabilitate them. Sometimes we put animals in zoos because we want to show other humans exotic animals that they may not be exposed to on a regular basis. So when I go to the San Francisco Zoo and I get a chance to see animals that are native to Africa and the savannah, it gives me an opportunity to see these beautiful animals that God created. And I may never go to Africa physically, but I can experience some of the wildlife and again, edify God by doing that. And I just don't understand why you're upset with how God chooses to show his glory in this world, because a zoo is very gloriful. Think about the Garden of Eden. Let's see if I can pull this argument off. All right. All right, so you've got the Garden of Eden. God created the Garden of Eden, which is really like a giant reserve for all of the creations that he made. And inside of this reserve, they were protected from death. They were protected from everything else. So you can argue that the very first thing God created for us was a human zoo with everything that we needed. All of our food was provided for us. Animals were there to hang out with us. All of the entertainment we needed, everything was there. The exact same way that an animal inside of the San Francisco Zoo would be. So he would get a very large area to hang out and play in, and they would feed him every day. So even God uses zoos to protect what he loves. He only had 2 humans and he wanted to keep them close and keep them protected so that he can, make sure nothing bad came of them. Unfortunately, he closed his eyes a little too long and took a nap, and Eve was fucking off and eating shit she wasn't supposed to be eating. And you know how the story goes, the whole fall of man. But what I'm saying is, the argument can be made that the Garden of Eden was God's very first creation for humans. So God not only loves the zoos, but he uses human zoos to protect his creation. Why then should we not, if we're created in the likeness of God, also use zoos to protect his creations, right? We're protecting his creations. And I'm just saying, I think the argument can be made. I think it can be. Soup in the chat if any of that made sense, because I'm not entirely sure.